clockmaker Émile Dupont had spent his entire life studying the intricacies of timekeeping. He had built clocks that ticked with precision, their gears whirring in harmony as they measured out the passing hours. But nothing could have prepared him for what he was about to discover. It started with a peculiar clock, one that Émile had been tinkering with for months. The mechanism was unlike anything he had ever seen before. It was as if the gears and springs were woven together in a complex dance. As he wound the clock's key, Émile felt an electric thrill run through his fingers. To his amazement, the clock began to tick away at an alarming rate. Time itself seemed to be bending and warping around him. Émile watched in wonder as minutes turned into seconds, the hands of the clock spinning out of control. "What sorcery is this?" Émile exclaimed, his voice barely above a whisper. As he stood there, transfixed by the clock's hypnotic rhythm, Émile had an epiphany. He realized that the clock was not just winding down, it was actually reversing time itself. With shaking hands, Émile reached out and turned the clock's key once more. The mechanism sprang back to life, and the room around him began to shift and change. Minutes slipped backward like sand in an hourglass. "Mon Dieu," Émile cried, his eyes wide with wonder. "I've done it! I've actually reversed time." Over the next few days, Émile experimented with the clock, carefully measuring out the precise amount of minutes required for each reversal. He discovered that only by exact minute intervals could he rewind time. Any deviation would result in catastrophic consequences. As news of his discovery spread, people began to flock to Émile's shop, eager to catch a glimpse of the time-traveling clock. But Émile was cautious. He knew that tampering with the fabric of time came with great risks. One day, a young woman named Sophie wandered into the shop, her eyes shining with curiosity. She listened in rapt attention as Émile explained his discovery, and by the end of their conversation, she had made up her mind. "I'll help you study this clock," Sophie said, a determined glint in her eye. "Together we can unlock its secrets." Émile hesitated for a moment, unsure if he was ready to share his discovery with anyone. But something about Sophie's enthusiasm put him at ease. As the days turned into weeks, Émile and Sophie delved deeper into the mysteries of the clock. They conducted experiments, testing the limits of the time-traveling mechanism and exploring its potential applications. But as they worked together, Émile began to realize that his discovery came with a steep price. Each time he reversed time, he felt himself becoming increasingly disconnected from reality. The world around him seemed to be growing hazy, like a watercolor painting left out in the rain. "Is this what it means to play with time?" Émile wondered, his voice tinged with trepidation. "Are we risking our very sanity?" Sophie's expression turned serious as she grasped Émile's arm. "We must be careful," she said. "We don't know the full extent of the clock's power." As they worked to unravel the secrets of the time-traveling clock, Émile couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched, that the very fabric of reality was waiting with bated breath for him to make his next move. One night as the clock struck midnight, Émile felt an electric jolt course through his veins. He turned to Sophie, a hint of mischief in his eyes. "Are you ready?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Sophie nodded, her heart racing with anticipation. Together they wound the key and waited for the minutes to begin flowing backward. And as the room around them began to blur and fade away, Émile realized that he had only scratched the surface of time's secrets, but he was ready to take the leap. The clock's mechanism whirred to life once more, its gears spinning out of control. Time itself seemed to be unraveling before their eyes. What lies ahead? Émile wondered, his voice lost in the din of the clock's rhythm. As the minutes slid backward like sand in an hourglass, Émile and Sophie embarked on a journey through the ages, one that would take them to the very edges of reality itself. And when the dust finally settled, they emerged with a newfound understanding of the intricate dance between time and the human heart. "The clock is only a tool," Émile said, his eyes shining with wisdom. "It's up to us to wield it wisely." Sophie smiled, her hand slipping into Émile's. Together they turned the key once more, ready to face whatever adventures lay ahead. As the clock struck the hour of their new beginning, Émile felt a sense of peace wash over him. He knew that he had found his purpose in life, to master time itself and unlock its hidden secrets. And so, with Sophie by his side, Emil set out on a journey through the ages, one that would take them to the very limits of human understanding. Their discovery was met with both awe and trepidation, as people struggled to comprehend the implications of a clock capable of reversing time. Governments, scientists, and philosophers clamored for access to the mechanism, eager to unlock its secrets. But Emil remained steadfast, his determination tempered only by his desire to protect those around him from the dangers of time travel. He knew that playing with time was not for the faint of heart, it required a deep understanding of the human condition. As the years passed, Emil's shop became a magnet for curious minds, each one drawn to the clock and its promise of adventure and discovery. And though Emil's journey had been marked by triumphs and setbacks alike, he knew that he had found his true calling in life as a guardian of time itself. But even as Emil stood watch over the clock, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was still so much to learn about its secrets. He wondered what lay beyond the boundaries of time itself, whether there existed other mechanisms like this one waiting to be discovered. The possibilities swirled in his mind like a maelstrom, leaving Emil with more questions than answers. But he knew that he would continue to explore, driven by an insatiable curiosity about the very fabric of reality. And so, with Sophie by his side and the clock's mechanism humming softly behind them, Emil embarked on a new adventure, one that would take him to the farthest reaches of human understanding. As the clock struck midnight once more, Emil felt a thrill run through his veins. He knew that he was ready for whatever lay ahead, ready to face the unknown and unlock the secrets of time itself. And so, with a sense of purpose and belonging, Emil set out on his next journey, one that would take him to the very limits of human understanding.